Hello, folks. How are you? It is I, Claude Bowles. Sorry, can people hear me? Can you let me know? Yeah, can you let me know? Now, it looks as though, yes, can hear me? Uh, there's been a mistake in the title. It was meant to be The Many Wives of Kent Hovind, but I've done a typo and it says The Man Wives of Kent Hovind. Although, who would know? I mean, there've been a lot of surprises recently, or allegations, and really doesn't really matter. But I don't think Kent would be very happy about it. So just to clarify, it should say the many wives, not the man wives. Now, we're just going to have a short show. Gangster Ghost has a show coming up in about 15 minutes. So this is just a quickie. If anybody wants to come on and have a talk in the meantime. So I always notice these things at the wrong time. So that's no problem. Yes. No doubt a few people will get a laugh about that. If Mrs. Sandra Irvin, the fourth, is available to come on, I'd love to talk to her, interview her. I know Kent's not very keen on it, that idea. Joseph sort of had a few words with me one day. But you know what, I don't care. I would love to see that happy couple back together again. And I'm offering my skills as a negotiator and to be independent and try and find out what their issues are and patch them up, just as God would have them do. You know. But I think the trouble is if they go to a Christian team, Kent will sort of walk all over the person doing, what do you call it, the counselling, and Sandra won't get a look in. So yes, please phone in and we can talk it through. Now, there's been a few things going on recently, as I mentioned in my some of my shorts, that Kent let the cat out of the bag, that Stephen, the Proverbs guy's originator and power behind the throne of Dan Puzzy, is leaving DAL with his wife, and they are going to start a ministry in Mobile, Alabama. Yes. So that's nice. Now, I only remember that he left a few months ago and then came back. And then before that, I think he left the. So I'm not going to run any form of stake sweep. No, a sweepstake on it. I'm not going to gamble on that, but it will be interesting to see how long those sort of things go. Um, yeah, so I did put up a little clip of that. The thing that's really annoying the cloud at the moment is Kent still saying he's appearing on one or two other channels, and of course I correct them all in good atheist love, of course, saying that he majored in math and science. Now, call me ignorant or out of touch, but you only major, you don't major at kindergarten. You don't major at some sort of, beginning type school or even high school. You major, the term major really applies to higher education. So that's got to be sort of at university level. So by saying he majored in math and science, he's trying to imply that somehow he's got, degrees in math and science. And, any fool might think that his doctorates were in math and science. Now, that's simply not true. He has no degree whatsoever, not even a fake one, in math or science. And the PhDs he purchased on a buy three, get one free scheme, they all came from they all came from a diploma mill or diploma mills. the other thing that Kent is being quite coy about, he said, well, what if they have their degree from China? What are they? Well, actually, there are arrangements for that. And any accredited university, they will also look at the accreditation schemes in other countries, and they will recognize those degrees, sometimes after an exam has been sat or whatever. So, if Kent claimed to be this great physicist and he had a degree that wasn't accepted to it, they would simply give him a test in physics. In fact, I think that's probably a very good idea if Kent would sit a graduate or even a master's level in physics. We'll soon see how clever he is if he can pass that. And a bit of a clue, just remembering names doesn't show you understand anything, So ambushed apostate, yeah, if you can up on, that would be good. Anybody else who wants to up on, that also would be good. We're not going to have a long show, as I say. I'll be eventually going over to Gangster Ghost Show, joining in there, saying hello, joining in the party. But you can see my point. So Kent deliberately misunderstands the whole issue about his degrees coming from diploma mills, and that is they're not worth the paper they're printed in. The old fool can start up a diploma mill, no standards whatsoever. They take the money and they print out the certificate. It is as simple as that. And Kent, with rubbish, he also says, I worked hard. Well, yes, he probably does, because he's not intelligent. The more stupid he is, the more hard he's going to have to work. Working hard is not a measure of the worth of the degree. I would rather he was able to say, look, we breezed through it because I'm really a clever person, I would admit, but no. So he trots that out. So anybody who has no idea about education, they're probably impressed. Well, that's of course why he's done it, hasn't he? He's done it to impress the mignons, and they are impressed. They have to give it to him. They think it's wonderful. Oh my God, doctor, yes, doctor. No, doctor, oh, whatever you say, doctor. Oh, I just, oh God, it just drives me crazy. The Claude is, yes. I guess that's the way they could make me have some sort of a mental breakdown. That could be a way of getting rid of the Claude, couldn't it? Yes, probably a good idea. So driving me to distraction and to destruction, unfortunately. The other thing I posted a little short on was Kent Hovind. I called him a soul loser because he claims to be a soul winner. And there's a guy who went on his show the other day and he said, Kent Hovind, I was a Christian and my faith was strengthened because of you. And of course, perks up. He's looking very cocky about it. And then the guy says, and then I started to think a bit more and got a brain, and I realized there was no, that it was all just false, and I credit that to you too, because it wasn't very happy and threatened him, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes on Judgment Day and all this sort of bull. So, which is what he normally does. Yeah. Yes, Gangster Ghost. Yes. The Claude could be driven to jump off the edge of the flat earth. Don't tell Achilles. Don't tell Achilles that. He's a flat earther. You get ready for your show too, Gangster, because I'll be coming on there. Yes, so I did it. The guy was really good, and he took it well. Kent was the one getting a bit, what did they say? A bit shitty about it. I've been through the major in math and science lie, because that's what it is. Didn't major in math and science ever. Then he's got this he was on another show, and it was really funny because he did his noise talking to the guy. I think the host was a bit simple, actually, feeble-minded anyway, as you could probably say. And Kent did this joke, oh, the only thing if you come to Dinosaur Adventureland, and you drink well water from the well, your babies will be born naked. And the guy goes, oh, aren't they already born naked? His joke fell completely flat. Oh my God. It was an indictment on Kent and an indictment on the host of the show. Get it? So this is the level of intelligence we're dealing with these fools. Then Kent he talks about how we can look at the age of the universe, and it just came, and he uses some measurement where X number of thousand years, the equivalent of, say, 3 feet or a yard or whatever, and it's just a total non-rational argument. You can't compare these measurements. It's just plain dumb. But I can see how the followers once again would lap it up. So, that's we've talked about the doctorate. The other one I thought was very good, and it's one of my shorts, which is called Jesus Had Short Back and Sides. So Kent is going on about it was a shame for man to have long hair and all this whatever, and it might have been for the Romans, but the Jewish people tended to have long hair, but it doesn't suit Kent's argument, so he doesn't sort of talk about that. But he's saying that Jesus probably had a haircut a bit like his. What kind of Kent Hovind looks like Jesus? Oh, I mean, that'll be the next step. I mean, everything else he talks about, it's going to be right up there, tapping God on the shoulder and telling him what terrible wicked people like the Claude did, laughing as we're consigned to the lake of fire forever and ever. God. Anyway, so apparently you've heard it from Kent. Jesus had short back and sides. He had a Kent Hovind haircut. Kent also does a thing where he attacks Emma once again, and Emma, has called out his diploma mill degrees, and in the response to that, Kent goes, well, I was a virgin on my honeymoon. What? What's that got to do with it? And technically, well, he probably was. That's up to him. That's fine. It doesn't, but he was only a virgin on one of his honeymoons. It doesn't take too much intelligence to work out which one, but perhaps I'll spell it out in case there are any Fundies listening. The first one. He couldn't have been on the second and third and fourth. Okay? Just to let you into a little secret in case your parents had never told you. Whatever. I told you about the one where the babies are born naked. There's another one where Kent is talking about dinosaurs and on the ark, and he said, of course, the big dinosaurs were big, and the small dinosaurs were little. I mean, let me just say that again. The big ones were big, and the little ones were little. The man has such comprehension, such powers of observation. Hello, Davy Burr from Costa Rica. Yes, bonjour to you too. Hello, Deviant. Hello to you too. It's just a little short show to get a few things off the balls, and then I'll be closing it and going over to Gangster Ghost. I'll give him a chance to get to get going. I think he's going on around about now, but some of the shows always run a bit late. So going over there soon. And I just want to correct the title. I don't know how to do that. Then I put the topic was the man wives of Kent Hovind. It was meant to be the many wives. So I'd left the Y just to show you how things can change, because as far as I know, he hasn't been married to a man yet, and probably is unlikely to, by the way he speaks to people like Emma, etc., the way he gives heaps to AJ or anybody who's a little different to what he considers godly. He gives a lot of shit to, and horrible. Speaking about the other day, what he said to Emma, he was saying, this is when he'd gone about how he was a virgin on his honeymoon. That's supposed to make some sort of big difference to his believability or whatever, or his goodness or his morality. And then he says, how many men or women have you slept with, Emma, or animals? What? Why did he choose to do that? Disparaging sort of a thing. And someone actually put on that Kent that runs the farm, and is obsessed with talking about animal reproduction, and want a better word, penises. Yeah, he's the one that goes on there. So yeah. Davey, yes, that was the word I was searching for. The big ones are big and the little ones are little. How profound. Here's Mr. Apostate. Hello, how are you?
What's up, y'all? How are you, Claude?
I'm good, thank you. Yes,
Good.
yeah,
Can you hear me okay?
I can. You can just a little bit more volume if you like.
All right. I'm on my
But
phone, so we're doing this
um,
on the fly.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. So um just having a little short show. I just realized that I'd put the man wives of Kent Hovind because I left the Y off the word
I
many.
saw it before you went live. I tried to get your attention. I
Yeah.
thought, well, maybe he's got evidence that they're actually all men. Possible.
No, but the funny thing is that when various people go on about certain prominent people, I'm not going to mention their names because it's just bonkers, being actually men and married to them. Kent would probably go along with some of those things, those accusations, because he supports people like Mr. Trump, etc. And so it's
Yeah,
sort of
you're
quite
probably right
funny.
about that. Well,
Yeah,
you have been
I think
following
so.
him for a while, and you've been covering him for a while. What do you make of just him right now, where he's at in general? He's got a lot of pressure from apparently the court systems um, with this ongoing trial. He's got all this pressure from us right now because of the shadow banning, or I'm sorry, the ban evasion.
Yeah.
Does it not seem like he's under a little more pressure than normal? And I feel like it's starting to show in some of his lives too, because he's getting a little bit more unhinged than normal.
Yes, and he when he says a lot of things through what we say gritted teeth. Yeah.
Yes,
So I would say
yes.
yes, he's gritted teeth. He forgets what he said the day before, so he, to my mind, contradicts himself quite a bit,
Well,
and he says some
that's a
things.
staple of Kent, I think, though,
Yeah, yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
years. But
yeah,
I have noticed the clenching of the teeth and the getting really like you can see his non. They're called nonverbal cues. I learned about them a
yeah.
lot in law enforcement with aggression, and so you can see when somebody has rubbed him the wrong way, and it gets in his mind, and he's like, "They are calling me out publicly, and I hate it." He gets this overwhelming like rage, but then he stifles it a lot of the time. So this stuff's definitely getting to him in a way that it's not been before. That's, I think, a pretty obvious fact.
Yes, well, I think the chickens are coming home to roost, and the complete bullshit about he was going to the atheist protest and he was going to win souls and he was going to talk to them. But then afterwards, when he doesn't go, he doesn't address that he makes up just the most feeble excuses. He said, "Oh well, I was going to go on online, and I would have talked to them online." No, that was never the arrangement, Ken.
It wasn't. It
Never.
wasn't. And for the record, I was there.
Yeah.
I literally was going to hold a camera for
Mm.
Chris Caruso, to just talk to him. He didn't want to like attack him. He didn't want to trash him or drag him about his wives or anything that we do. A lot of times on our stuff. He wanted to have a civil conversation with him. It was nothing but that. Okay, Deviant says my volume's low. I'm sorry. I will try to adjust that. I know you got to run, Claude.
It's good now. It's good now. Yeah. Now it's
okay,
come right.
It may be a delay. I got you.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He had an opportunity to act like an adult. He said he was coming, and then one of his many excuses was, "Oh, there was only 10 people going to be there, or whatever." Okay, well, what about those 10 lost people wasn't worth your time if your mission is to, save all these souls? It's not. You're full of shit is what is actually happening here, and you're being called out on it because it wasn't about parking. It wasn't about, there wasn't enough people there. It was about Kent saying something and not following through. And I think that just kind of sums up Kent as a person.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you know what? I would think a lot more of him. He would be a better person in my view. And I'd actually give him, if he'd just said, "Look, I just changed my mind. I didn't want to go." Fine. Okay. Thank you.
Right. I think I would have. I think I would respect the gesture. Obviously, him as a person, I can't respect. But if he would have approached it like an adult and sat down and said, "Hey, let's talk," without the, sort of the bite that sometimes happens on the internet, and just have a conversation, I could have respected that coming from Ken. But everyone should have known better. And me and Joe, the Kentucky Atheist, had talked about this months earlier, that he was probably not going to show up, and unfortunately, we were right.
Yeah. So it's very sad that he can't. But I can understand his people don't see it. They just don't see it. They defend them and when they come up with a reason, it's like something totally stupid. Did you sleep with a woman before you were married? But that's not the topic. That's not. Yeah.
He attacked Emma, who, as far as I'm aware, is still in a relationship with a dude. He attacked AJ, who, as far as I'm aware, is still in a relationship with a woman. And it's like this big gotcha from him, and it just comes across as like, what is that even supposed to mean, and what's it have to do with the topic at hand?
Yeah, it's totally unrelated.
As it is, it's a non sequitur because he doesn't have anything to come back with, so he has to pick, the low hanging fruit, I guess, in his book. I'll say this real quick about how do his supporters support him. I would have gone to the death for people like him, and others of his ilk, because they are elevated to such a status when you're in that kind of educational system that you cannot question them. They know, and if to question them would to be to let any of this evil evolution stuff from the world, influence your mind. So there's a lot of people who do defend him blindly, and they don't even realize the harm he's doing because they've compartmentalized that it's okay, or being misinterpreted, or it's persecution is a big one. So that's how they defend it, because they've been indoctrinated so heavily. And I guess it's unfortunate, and now it's sort of fortunate that I have been in that spot, so I get it. And it's a scary place that people live, being able to defend somebody like that, but it's a reality of his followers.
Yeah. It's so now he's just been into everybody, and he just when you try and reason with people, so it would be, for example, well, you said you were going to the ARC protest and you didn't turn up. Well, were you a virgin on your honeymoon? Yeah, I mean, that's what he didn't actually say that, but that's what he's
the price of tea in China. Like, what's it matter?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And he does that with me on the days when I was allowed to be on his shows. He when he was losing and getting, he would just totally change the topic,
yeah.
actually, by asking a very unrelated question. Well, you know, have you
Yeah,
ever
and then
done anything
he'll
wrong?
mute you or hang up on you or whatever the case, and that's
Mm.
just it. You know, and he'll
Well,
do his little
this is
chicken noises, and then he moves
yeah.
on.
When I first was on, this very first the Claude was on, and we got onto some tough questions about his PDF file friends, and eventually he said, "Well, have you ever done anything wrong?" And I said, "Well, not with children, no." You know, it's just
Exactly,
bizarre.
exactly.
What a
Well,
stupid, you know.
he you got to understand. He knows that this stuff's insane. He has to. So anytime he hears some question like that, he's automatically going, "How do I get off this topic as quickly
Yeah,
as humanly possible?"
yeah,
Oh, my supporters will latch on to, "Oh, this guy's homosexual. Oh my God, can you imagine how horrible he is?" Forget the
yeah,
question or the statement that was just
yeah.
asked. Now the focus is this icky, thing in their mind. So it's just a diversion tactic because he's scared to death of stuff like that being addressed.
Yeah. So, of course, as you know, because you make a few comments on them, I've been really pushing some of those shorts and certain of his activities. I just
I've
leave
had to
it for.
stop watching you while I'm driving because the way you edit that together, I laugh and I'm not paying attention. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna wreck the car.
No, well,
Oh
don't do that.
no, no.
Oh God.
Well, I know you're going on Gangster Ghost
Yeah,
channel.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
jump off here. I
yeah.
appreciate you having me on. Just
Oh, great. Yeah,
keep doing what you're doing because right now, the eyes are back on Kent. He's misrepresented this whole. Oh well, it must be just a random fan putting me back on YouTube. You can find my stuff everywhere.
yeah.
No, Joseph's putting it up and commenting for you and doing all the things. So
Hmm.
just stay on target and keep doing what you're doing, and,
Yep.
and let's get this third channel, looked at by somebody at YouTube that can do something because the only way to stop these destructive cults is to say no and to hold them accountable.
Yeah,
Because he's done his whole career with, bending or breaking the rules. I mean, his tax stuff speaks to that. So hold him accountable, keep giving him pressure, and keep being awesome, man. Hey, and listen, I'm still waiting on that album to drop with all these banger songs you've done. So is my 15-year-old daughter. So you got to get on it, man.
I got to get into that studio. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen,
Bye.
Claude, I appreciate you. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
See you then. Bye. Oh, that was nice. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, a deviant, you're right. A normal person would say, look, something came up or I couldn't make it. I'm sorry. Hope you had a good time. And, we'll get, but no, it was, and which was it? Were there either 10 people there or were there no car parks? I mean, they're not going to be both. There's only 10 people there. At the most, there are 10 cars parked there, aren't there? Most people I know can only drive one car at a time. And I know that many people went together. So it's utter bullshit. He gets caught out all the time. And I wish I could get him on the witness stand in a court. I think I could have a field day with him, Hello. Deviant says her wedding is getting closer. Moving has been a hassle and cost a lot of money. We're still not done, but it's coming. Look, I tell you what, instead of donating to DAL, no, I'm not going to donate to the wedding either. But never mind. BBM, hi, Claude, and AA, yes, AA's just ducked off. Just here for a little bit, Big Bad Mama, and then very shortly, in a few minutes, we'll head over to Gangster Ghost Show. And I just want to say again, BBM, because a bit of a balls up, I left the Y. In the title, I made a typo. It should be The Many Wives of Kent Hovind, because that was going to be sort of part of the topic, and it come up as The Man Wives. So I have to go back and change that at some stage if I can work out how to edit. Or maybe so I just leave it up. Yeah, it's not a statement. We were going to discuss were any of them. Since it's a topic that seems to be going around at the moment, everybody's, being accused. It's just bizarre, Wow, people poking their nose into other people's business and Just people are living happily. I'm very happy that they're living happily. Yes, so that's what's been going on. I tell you what, it's been a bit of a concern to me lately. For a while, I had a great run on shorts. People, several hundred, sometimes 3,000 views. I thought, oh, that's good. It's dropped back again a bit now, but it's probably still better than Proverbs, guys. Actually, my latest short, Stephen put up this thing on Mormons, and he talked about being, how ridiculous their beliefs were, and mentioned some of them, and then he made. There was whatever 3 levels of whatever, and he goes, level 1 is, second is, and the third is, I can't remember. But other than that, I said, well, these so-called ridiculous beliefs of Mormonism, they're not too much different to what you believe in, Stephen, like everything created in 6 days, 6,000 years ago, people living till 900, worldwide flood, a talking ass, a talking snake, a talking burning bush that happened to be on fire at the time, and a virgin birth. I mean, it's all pretty out there stuff, isn't it? But you then say, oh, the Mormons, well, just go that bit further. Well, I don't see too much of a difference in any of it. So, what else can I talk about? Yes, well, I've mentioned about Jesus and Kent looking the same because Jesus has short back and size hairstyle, according to Kent. It probably looks a bit like me. Although I'm rambling there, I'm going on. He was also talking to this guy, and they got onto the topic of the Mokele-mbembe and the swamp, and he said that swamp is so dangerous, you're not allowed in to explore it because people just die. The next minute he's talking about an expedition going in and exploring it. So which is it? Are you allowed in there or not? So either an expedition went or it didn't. For someone who supposedly taught high school, he doesn't have any ability to think things through very much. The other one was that children being paid, you're saying you should pay your kids. Yes, one friend or a friend of a friend or whatever paid his kids $5,000 to watch Kent's videos, and it changed their lives. I'm thinking, yes, it probably did. I wonder what they say now. Would you like fries with that? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I didn't really want to use that because it's not particularly fair. But yeah, and yes, and that was the same guy he was talking to that didn't get the drinking well water joke with your babies being born naked. He just completely missed it whatsoever. And I have put up stuff about him chickening out of the Ark protest. And then he's still going on about his case. Well, send messages to Mr. Trump saying, don't pardon Kent Hovind. But it's gone beyond that now. He wants the case overturned. Well, that can't happen. And he wants compensation. That is not going to happen. Sorry, he's been through all the legal means. He's lost every court case he's been virtually involved in. Just about all of them anyway, his appeals. And so that isn't going to happen. Yes, Mr. Trump could pardon him, but I think he has got enough on his hands with the whole Epstein thing. And I don't think when he finds out, well, as he knows already, that Kent was involved with a couple of very unsavory characters, inviting them to dance or Adventureland, in fact, insisting they come. I don't think the president will want a bar of that. He, that is not good for him. So, yeah. But anyway, regardless, he's not going to get his case overturned. That's just bullshit. And I think he's going to get a whole lot of money. No, he's not. Other thing he's been going on about is advice on women and stay away from strange women. I don't know if he's trying to sort of, it's a hint about Sandra or not. Was she strange? I never thought so. I thought she was lovely. And Stephen Boland thought she was great. Wonderful. It was the forever Mrs. Hovind. Been one of those interview type things he was doing. But he's talking about these women and, you can wear makeup because that's acceptable because every old barn needs a coat of paint. God, he's horrible. I mean, that's the sort of humor that went out, we're going to say, with the Ark. But it went out years ago, and it's just, now it's not funny, Humor goes through different phases. It's not funny at all. And then he was also on about some place and cats and Chinese restaurant and all this sort of crap. Yeah, he's a horrible, horrible, horrible person. And then he's on about donations and send money, but if not, get out of the way because he's going to do it anyway. So I thought that's great. So you're wasting your time sending money to Kent because if you do, he's going to do it. And if you don't, he's going to do it anyway. Are you able to catch the logical difference between the two? Well, send money. If you don't send money, we're going to do it anyway. Well, okay, going to do without the money. It's good to be. Oh dear. Oh, he's even on about narcissistic women. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I did point out in a clip that that Epstein guy, he managed to get a job teaching at I think it's a high school or a private, without any formal degree in the subject that he taught. I think one of them was maths and one of them was physics. So it was very similar to Kent in that regard. And of course, but the difference was that Mr. Epstein was up to mischief, apparently, even when he was, in those schools. There again, Kent and his friends, they're not too immoral, are they, those friends? Yeah, and then there's a horrible one where he tells a joke about stuttering. And once again, that might have been, well, it was never really acceptable. So I'm going to say that, but it's just stupid now. And you get this guffawing in the audience from these imbeciles. Oh, dear. Yes, the owners of Kent's go-to Chinese should be shown part of the video where he mentions the cats. Yeah, I was going to put that out. I don't know where it is in there. I've forgotten which. If you want to send me the link to that video, Soot, and the approximate timestamp, you might have done already, but if you can do it again, I'll have a look back and I'll make sure that I publicize. It's not a dad joke. It's just a bad joke. Just dumb. Hello, Jens. Hi to you. We'll be finishing in about 5 minutes. We're going to go on to the show of Gangster Ghost podcast, which anybody is welcome to go to as well. There'll be a few more people there, a few more things to discuss, and which should be good. Yeah, so that's my rant about Kent. Somebody put up, I just came across your videos by chance, and don't you think you're obsessed and it must be bad for your mental health to be... And I said, no, why don't you... If you knew the story of Kent, I think that myself and those that make videos, we're trying to warn people who otherwise going to have their lives ruined, getting sucked in by the charlatan. And I don't like that. I don't like people losing their money to him. I didn't like Cindy losing her money to him. I don't like ordinary folk, hard in fact, he was boasting the other day about getting $1,000 donation at the gate. Well, let's hope that was handled well and legitimately and not wasted. But the next thing you'll find is bought a new Jeep, and then he'll wreck the Jeep, then want more money for the Jeep, then decide the Jeep isn't good enough, he wants something else. The list goes on. So, of money wastage at Dinosaur Adventureland. So I wish people wouldn't do that, and I certainly hope that young people don't have their education influenced by him. I just don't like that at all. Yeah. All right. Give me a timestamp for the reference to cats. Yes. Let's say no more about it. Just awful. Yes. I'm not a particularly intelligent person, but I can see right through this, and I can't understand why people, that he still gets the following he has. He's not a decent person. He's quite nasty. He treats women like crap, second-class citizens. He really does. Who can say any different? Well, 4 wives and counting can't all be wrong, can they? But no, it's never his fault. Never his fault. Okay, folks, I'm going to hello, Captive Desk. I'm going to wind it up now, and the Many Wives of Kent Hovind's show is over. I suppose I should say something about that. He's going on, they divorced me. Well, actually, let's look at that carefully. Wife number 1 divorced him. Yes. Now, what kind of marriage was the second one, and is he actually divorced? I'm not so sure that's the case. But if there was a divorce done, he must have led it. But I think that he annulled the marriage. Well, if that isn't doing a divorce, I don't know what is. In fact, annulling a marriage means that it never technically actually took place. The problem there is, if he was never technically married to wife number 2 because it was annulled, that means he was committing adultery, doesn't it? Because he would have been bunking someone who now he wasn't married to. And that same applies to Cindy, and the same applies to Sandra. So what was done about the marriage? Was it a legitimate marriage in the first place? If it was it the subject of divorce or an annulled, not annulled the marriage? That might have been another reason for it to fail, but annulled. It's hard to get my mouth around that. Annulled. Anyway, so which is it? And if you're going to do you look it up. I think Henry VIII used that trick, and that meant technically the marriage never took, not only like a divorce, but the marriage never existed. Well, if it never existed and he was bunking them, then he was committing adultery. Isn't that right? What say you? Yeah. Okay, folks, I'm going to wrap the show up, and we'll do another one another time. I'll try and not have it on the same time or the night that Gangster's doing one, or Mod, or various other people in the broader community. So, and then I'll try and make sure that some people are free to come on. Okay, folks, so it is Claude over and out on the Many Wives of Kent Hovind, and a whole lot of other topics as well. What do I say? What do I say but bonne nuit, or whatever time of, because that's what it is for me. Good night.